Ow! Something bit me. Whoop! We're gonna slide right down there. I think something moved in there. Look at him. Is that a good-looking guy?
That's right. I think you're out of a job now.
Hi there, this is Captain Q. Join us as we travel hither and yon to show you some great deals on some really interesting boats and maybe learn just a little bit with each one. Randy!
Hey, Captain!
Randy, where
I'm
are you
over
again?
on this side of the bushes.
Where are you? Oh,
Chasing you down.
what, are we in another forest again? Why do we get into these forests all the time? Where are we today?
Somewhere in Maine.
Freeport, Maine, I bet.
Yes.
I just guessed that. We have to say that we looked at a Hinckely 41 restoration.
Yep.
Superb.
Beautiful.
The restorer, the person who did all that work with a little outside help, had another boat and it's in the project stage. He found a boat in Taiwan that was manufactured in 1978. It was manufactured by the Yuqing boat yard there, who were under contract to Jack Kelly, a yacht broker in California, who had assigned Doug Peterson to design this unique fast cruising boat. And they commissioned originally 10 boats, and they said, you build 9 and send them on off to the States, and we'll finish them over there. And the 10th boat, Jack is going to hop in that, that's going to be his boat, he's going to sail it back. It turned out the boat was pretty popular, and they ended up building 100 of them.
Oh, wow.
And Jack never got a chance to go sailing on the 10th boat. She's 44 feet long, and it has, I think, about a 39-foot waterline. She comes in around 30,000 pounds. This is really a big boat. And today we're going to have a chance to take a look at this. But for the viewers out there who said, gee, wouldn't it be nice if you showed us something that maybe needed a little work? We have something here that needs more than a little work.
Maybe a lot of elbow grease.
Right, and I think we're going to come back here in, well, about 7 years, and it might be completed because that was the amount of time it took the owner and the restorer of the Hinckely 41 to complete that boat. He is the sort of man that's going to be diligent, and you know he's going to do the same thing and the same level of quality with this boat. As you look at this boat, understand that the owner would probably accept a check for $25,000, and you can take the boat, all the new pieces that he has in his really lovely storage shed right on his property, and the whole rig. If they brought in half of that, he would make them a half owner. So at this point, they could invest $12,500 and they would be a half owner of this boat. Then he would like, ideally, let's talk ideally here, he would love that person to want to put a little sweat equity into it and come here and work on this boat with him. And it's kind of a cool thing for somebody out there who wants a project, wants to learn all there is to ever learn about boats. He has a workshop here. He kind of has his own little boat yard here. There's a smattering of odd boats over in the rest of his property here. He has a lot of tools to work with, a lot of trade, and he lives right near this. It would be a really interesting project for 12 grand.
And then just split the ownership time.
Let me point it out to you so you know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
A Kelly Peterson 44. She's all solid fiberglass. Starting around the garboards, you know, she's about 1.75 inches fiberglass, just solid glass. That thins out as it gets closer to the gunnel, probably down to, you know, 1/2 inch or something up.
What's the gunnel?
That's just the sheer line of the boat up on deck. Here we are on the starboard side of the boat. She draws a little over 6 feet, about close to 7 feet almost. But this is this full-length keel. Whoop! We're going to slide right down there. This is a hollow keel that's been filled with steel. She's iron ballasted. Once it's all in, then they've got the right weight in there. Then they cover everything and lock everything in place with concrete. You end up with a smooth bilge, and the ballast is all covered over. This hull is covered with lots of little pock marks, and there's been some discussion about how those might have arrived. This was a polyester resin and matte and roving layup, and some of the early polyester had problems with bubbling and spotting the hull, and we don't know if this is caused by the polyester itself or the tool with which they applied it, which was reported to be a sort of an air gun that would spray it on and mix it simultaneously as it came out of the gun. And thinking that that had something to do with it. I'm not certain that that's the problem. I think it's more the resin problem itself. So you could scrape this all off, put a new barrier coat on it, and start over again and be done. There was a diesel tank leak on the other side, and that tank has been removed. We've got a huge rudder here. Those originally had some issues in that they were a stainless steel frame fabricated out of plywood and then glassed over. They did have some problems with those down the line. That certainly would need to be addressed. But enormous skeg there, plenty of protection for your prop, a really big aperture, and that aperture being big like that is great because it's going to allow the three-bladed or whatever prop you put in there to really be efficient. Sometimes these apertures are a little too small. This is a waterline screamer. She's going to just fly. They talk about doing 180 miles a day in some of these,
Oh, wow.
which is really, really moving along.
I guess with that amount of water line, that makes sense.
Yeah, waterline is king.
These stains?
That's got to be some oil or something. I think these are all somehow related to the oil. This boat sat down in Mississippi untended for about 2 or 3 years in the water down there. Let's take a look topside.
Peekaboo.
Hey, Randy, you made it up here all right.
Yeah.
You're standing on the fantail of this Kelly Peterson 44, and it's a lot of space back there. That's a lot of nice sunbathing space, isn't it?
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah, this is a cutter rigs, one mast. Don't get the second mast on this one. And notice how we have nice wide walkways on the decks. And look at the height of the bulwarks here, leading up to the tow rail with the Genoa cars on them. It's kind of hard to get too effusive about this boat because it is such a mess. When you're looking at the profile of the boat, she has kind of a swooped up deck, which gives her kind of a high nose, and you know that that's going to help keep this boat a lot drier. Midship cockpit boats are noted for being wet for the people sitting in them because the spray goes so far back, it doesn't usually always make it back to the aft end of the boat. They've taken the cabin house and lowered it. It's a very low cabin house, and half or a quarter of the cabin house is even hidden by the height of the bulwarks. So as you look at it from the side, this whole thing is sort of sunken down into the boat. You've got twin companionways, one to go forward to the dining area and another sleeping cabin. Then there's a master cabin aft that has a double berth and a head and shower back there. They've built a nice breakwater here where you're going to attach a Dodger. This is great. It's a keel boat. You don't have to worry about the centerboard hitting anything. There is a story about, I think, Jack running one of these on a reef
Ooh.
and landed on the other side, hoisted the sails, and sailed away. that says something for the construction of this boat.
Hit and run?
Look at the space up here. Look at the safety measure of this hull and deck arrangement. You're really locked in to the deck of and the hull of this boat. For kids, for anybody going offshore, this thing is just wicked strong and beautifully designed to go true blue water
What
sailing.
makes it, what are you thinking of when you think of locking you in more? What do you think specifically?
Well, I just see how high the bulwarks are. They're almost 8 inches high up toward the bow. They drop down to maybe 4 or 6 at the midships here, and that means that if this boat's heeling over, you can practically walk on that, upright, and move yourself forward or aft. She's got a big J dimension. That's the dimension from the mast up to the bow. And here's the where the mast step would be, right down this little hole right in front of me. She's cutter rigged, so you're going to have a head stay and then you're going to have an inner stay for the staysail, both of which you could use at any given time, either in together or one at a time. Lots of handrails. I guess one thing you'd like to do first of all right now would be to attack the boat with some soap, serious soap and water, pressure water, and really clean it. Right now the owner is starting to attack the interior and remove those components that just are too tired to be used. When it's done, it's going to be a heck of a boat.
Yeah.
And this is a great starter price for it. These go for well over $100,000, $150,000 at least in reasonable condition. What do you say we pop below?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Randy, come on down.
There we go.
Well, now you can just stop right there. I want you to take the whole thing in. I'm sitting here very comfortably on a nice settee. I don't have any cushions on it, but once I get the cushions, I think it'll brighten the place up a little bit. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
And let's think about a little wallpaper here and there, and some shelving missing here. The cabin sole looks like it's going to brighten up nicely.
What's your sense of the overall size and shape?
I like. Oh, the layout has always been a good one for this boat. It's really good. One thing this has that we haven't seen very much, and I hope you can appreciate it. But there is the dinette, which is just a slide-in type. It's not U-shaped, and that actually allows you to have maybe a little bit more room sometimes. But it also gives you a very large double berth when you do the old conversion trick.
Yep.
So. That's kind of nice, and it's sort of nice eating facing somebody else like you're at a regular restaurant maybe. You can see all the storage. I don't have to open any drawers for you or open any doors. They're sort of,
This is an easy one for you.
they've been pre-opened, right? Oh, here's one I could open, but if I can get my finger in there. Oh, let's see. Ow. something bit me. Let's move on to this space. This space is all nice and open right
That
here.
one doesn't cost you a digit.
No. But this is kind of interesting. You might take a look at this kind of hanging elbow here, knee for the chain plate. That's a pretty massive piece there, and it's all glassed into the hull. You're probably going to want to take that all apart, unbolt it, take out those metal pieces, and polish them up and see how they look, and then probably throw them away and get some new ones. Yeah, this boat needs a lot of work, a real lot of work, but it's not impossible. The basic bones are cool. The layout of the boat's cool. The hull is strong. The design is very strong. Doug Peterson was just coming into his own as a designer when this thing was done, and he designed a lot of fast IOR boats and offshore racers and so forth.
Seems like it would
Good
be
line.
a really ideal arrangement for an apprentice or someone young that wants to learn a lot.
I think so. I even think, a couple, a married couple. We've got a nice forward cabin here. The berths are good and low, which is easy to get in and out of.
Do you want to go check it out?
Don't have to. I'm a little careful about walking around here. This is sort of like walking around that scary ghost house in your neighborhood, you know?
Oh, this has a feature that I know you'll like.
And that is
A low V-berth.
the low V-berth we really like. God, he's got a great memory. This is nice. It's nice to have it low. The only thing you could do to this in some ways, and I did this with the PB, is that I actually raised these berths and slid them a little further forward, because as you go forward, you see, and you're higher, then you would I picked up, and the PB, I picked up this amount of room. So I had a place to sit up in the forward cabin. See, when you go down the V, it gets closer and closer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what else would work here too? Toe over toe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're starting from scratch, why not?
Yeah, and just have a ton of room, because this is a big volume of space. I mean, look at the size of the chain locker there. That's no. That's another whole room.
That looks like the bunk you used to give me.
That's when you were good. Oh, but you know what I just noticed?
Twofer.
A twofer. What do you see on your side? You have a twofer there?
Oh, yeah.
I think there we go. Whoa. That's a nice twofer.
That's really great.
Look at the size. I'm going to come in here.
Hey, it's occupied.
Oh, Acopado. Got a sink. We got the hand pump here in case you run out of pressure water. Locker storage. You have a little work around this port light that needs to be done. But this is very nice. It's got a nice toilet here. Nice head. But anyway, we do like the double doors. We always like that. But everything here has got to be stripped down, sanded down, and then restained and revarnished.
Oh,
We have food aboard.
that's a Maine classic.
These are very good instruments. These are Weems and Plath. I'm in the galley area. And
Looks like you're making spaghetti.
by the way, 3-burner stove, oven, oodles of storage. And if you notice, I've left all the lockers open for you to you can notice.
I see the water damage here on that upper cabinet there.
A lot of that's veneer. It's just veneer that's peeling off.
Yep.
See, here's this stuff. It's just coming off. They take plywood and then put a nice teak veneer on it,
Yep.
or a Luan veneer of some sort, and then glue it into the boat instead of using all teak.
I see another favorite of yours.
Another favorite of mine. Ah, I know exactly what it is. And look at the size of those puppies.
Yeah.
I could wash both of your shoes in there at the same time. Randy has the second biggest feet that I've ever met.
Who's number one?
These are really good, really nice deep sinks. These are good. But you know, when you tack a boat like this, you've really got to go through everywhere, and you'll end up pulling these sinks out. Now there was a refrigeration unit in here. I don't know that you can see that. I'm holding a 110 volt cord in my hand here.
If you just don't bite on it.
Yes. There we go. Just drops right in there.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here in the nav station, but I tell you, there's a lot of legroom under it. See a lot of legroom here. It's going to fit under there nicely. There's a big chart table under. Let's see what they got in here. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what's in there. I think something moved in there. Here's going to be a good place to put instruments. And here's your wiring area. This needs a little extra work. Okay, I'm going to go back here. And some people apparently refer to this as a crawl space, though I'm not crawling. And as I stand in the middle here, I actually have full headroom because my head is in the cockpit.
Maybe they should leave it that way so that we can talk to the captain.
Here is the engine bed. Look at the size of these stringers here. These puppies are really enormous. It's massive. It's just absolutely massive. And excuse my back, but I'm going into the after cabin here.
Well, there's a booty shot.
Now, we're in the master cabin back here, and it's sort of designed for one thing. Serious sleeping. We have a nice big hatch here overhead that's cut in the deck, and this is going to let in all the light you want. All these openings in the side of the boat are going to have opening hatches. We have a hanging locker right here that was originally cedar lined, I think, and that needs to be addressed a little, but it's certainly big. Also back here we have the after head. I think somebody's in there. Occupado. I think we're going to see this one when the boat's finished, but and you're going to love it because it's very handy. And if you're the helmsman, well, you don't have to struggle down through the main salon, through the galley, through the nav station. You just come down right here to your own little head right here. You know what else we like to see sometimes? It's often not easy to see. The stuffing box. Now there's a stuffing box for you. And that has, I think, one of the non-drip seals on it. That's that bellows, and that takes a little water hose that goes in to feed it and to help cool it and so forth. They're pretty clever. They tend not to leak. I'm just a little bit too old myself to tackle this one. And this particular boat, for the person that likes to do it, wow, what fun. And we didn't talk about the sails, but I believe there are sails, but I don't know about them offhand, but I'm sure there are some. But we do know that there's an engine sitting in the owner's storeroom right here, right in front of the boat on land, and that's being rebuilt. And there's new water tanks, and there's all sorts of new parts that are here to go into the boat when he gets ready to install them.
What would you keep down here?
It looks like they've had batteries in there. See the...
Oh yeah, connectors and all that.
Does that look like a familiar installation?
It sure does.
Yeah, thought you'd like that.
A little more headroom though, on some boats.
Another boat run, and we found something that people have been asking for some time today. Somebody said, let's see what you got that really does have some work to it. And we found that today. They were a really beautiful design, a very fast cruising boat. But this boat, sadly, had been neglected for a number of years, and I think she probably leaked from just about every crack and crevice, the wind and weather and hot summer. I think the simplest way for those of you who've been viewing us for this time is if you remember the Cal 28, this made the Cal 28 look brand new. It's a very solid boat, cool design, sleek looking. They look great under sail. They're very fast, very seaworthy, heavy, 30,000 pounds of boat. The owner is the same gentleman that took a nearly equal boat and turned it into the Hinckely 41 that we reviewed. And he wants to do the same thing with this boat. but the years are slipping by. He'd like a little help. So if you would like to help and own half of this boat to start with, maybe even a full ownership down the line, for $12,000, you can buy half of this boat and then join in the work. If you really want to do this all on your own, take the whole boat yourself, he will let it go for $25,000 today. Randy always asks me about this time for rating, and I'm very sorry to say, because it hurts my heart right now. If she floats, she gets a 10,
It gets
right?
a 10, yeah.
This boat will not float right now.
This is our first non-floater.
Enough duct tape, she might float, but right now we're going to call her a non-floater. So we're going to give her a 7.
That seems fair.
That was not easy. But because it's such a cool boat, she gets an extra 1. So I'm going to take her up to an 8. I'd say that's it. I think we're going to give her an 8. Hope you enjoyed what you just watched. You try it on for our camera. Oh my God, it looks great. Look at him. Is that a good looking guy?
That's right. I think you're out of a job now.
If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes a little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.